Oh, you know I have you covered for day 2 of BravoCon. We have a lot of topics. The Real Housewives of Atlanta panel happened. Drew is throwing shade at Shamea and Kelli, and Shamea have things to say about Drew. And we have to talk about Porsha versus Candiace, and what Porsha has to say about Candiace unfollowing her. And we have to talk about Married to Medicine and Toya saying that she would not be voting for Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly has a tearful response. Let's talk about day 2 of BravoCon.
Here we go now.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So yesterday we posted day 1 recap of some of the most important details that came out. So if you're watching this video and you missed yesterday's, be sure to go check out that video. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed and like the video. If you like content like this, if we reach a certain amount of likes, I will do a day 3 recap. And I'm only summarizing what I think our community even cares about. Sidebar, yesterday it was revealed that Vicki Gunvalson got her orange back, and it was a tearful reaction. I just find it strange. I get it. She was a part of the beginning of Housewives. And some might say we would not have any of the other cities without her. Okay. However, Vicki is a successful entrepreneur. I find it so sad that this is the most important thing in her life. Like, you've built an entire business, really have money, unlike some of these housewives that have come after you. I just find it strange. But again, people value different things. And I get it. She was a part of something that became a cultural phenomenon. And not to be a part of that, I guess it might affect her ego. And she was a part of it for a very long time. And maybe because I wasn't introduced to Real Housewives through her city. Maybe, look, how do you feel? Because a lot of you don't really like Vicki for a multitude of reasons, including some of her political beliefs. So I can't promise you that I'll be in with Orange County come next season. Because I've seen some things that Vicki Gunvalson has said that I cannot get with. Not in 2025. Nope. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. So she apparently got her orange back. Last night, Kandi Burruss, Tucker, gave an emotional speech as she received the Lifetime Achievement Award. And look, Kandi has gotten a Grammy. She's been nominated for a Tony. I think she was nominated for an Emmy as well. And she's on her way for getting that EGOT. Here's the thing, though. I know Housewives and BravoCon folks are like, yeah, this is a huge achievement. However, it's an award that they made up themselves. There really is no, when Kandi is introduced at the next whatever big event, they're going to say Grammy Award winner. They're not going to say Lifetime Achievement Award winner. And y'all need to leave Kandi alone when it comes to her saying, I'm embedded in your mother effing brain. I saw so many people, why the Nene shade? It's not shade at Nene, even though she'd be rightful to take shade at Nene. Remember the last time Nene was on her YouTube channel and she had a talk show, she was taking multiple shots at Kandi. Multiple. But we're going to leave that alone. That is an iconic line that Kandi has had. That's not necessarily shade at anyone. Not Nene. It's a iconic line from her. I felt like people were reading too much into that. Sidebar, speaking of Nene, Andy was asked during BravoCon day 1 whether or not amongst these 3 people, who would he possibly rekindle or make amends with or reunite with? The options were Nene Leakes, Bethany Frankel, and Kathy Griffin. His answer might surprise you. I really thought he was going to pick Bethany. But I think the Bethany of it all is part of the reason why he always is citing HR. Remember the reality TV Reckoning? I think he really is mad at Bethany because of that. He said that he spoke to Nene. He texted with Nene maybe a few months ago. I think this is going to be a soft launch of Nene coming back because we already know she's in the good graces of the network. She was supposed to do Traitors. It didn't happen because her son was ill. So her and Andy were going to reunite because remember, he hosts the Traitors reunion. So he's already probably trying to at least build some sort of relationship so it's not awkward when they do finally see each other. But here's the other surprising thing Andy said. Andy revealed that he recently emailed with Kathy Griffin. I find that to be interesting because she was recently asked in an interview about Andy Cohen, and she didn't have the nicest things to say. I mean, she never usually has the nicest things to say, but she always rounds it out with a joke, which I love about Kathy Griffin. And you're probably wondering, Kempire, what's the beef between Kathy Griffin and Andy Cohen? Remember when she did the Donald Trump head? Remember when she put the ketchup on the Donald Trump head? Well, then she lost her job at CNN. And remember, she used to do that with Anderson Cooper, the New Year's Eve CNN event. That used to be Anderson Cooper and Kathy Griffin. That's when I used to watch it. Then Andy Cohen took over that position. So that led to some choice words between them in interviews and things like that. He basically gave the Mariah answer, who? Well, now it looks like they're making amends. So who knows? Maybe you'll see her on Watch What Happens Live. Here's the thing with Andy Cohen. Andy Cohen is about his money. He will do whatever the network wants him to do. He just signed a new contract with them. He's going to do whatever they want him to do, whatever's going to make him more money and bring more attention to Watch What Happens Live, to Real Housewives. I'm trying to give you a full roundup of day 1 and day 2, okay? But I did do a day 1 roundup of some of the most important stories that came out from the Real Housewives of Potomac panel, so be sure to check that out. Okay, so there was that. Let me get into where I want to go. Just talk about Jeff Lewis, since we're talking about Andy Cohen. So 2 years ago, I remember the first panel that I walked in on was Andy Cohen and Jeff Lewis were talking. Sidebar, they were talking about Andy Cohen in the club and the footage coming out with that black boy on his lap. And I covered the story, but everyone blamed me like I was in the club on a Saturday night during Pride at my big age filming. I was doing my job. I report. Same way I report on the Housewives. I report on everything in pop culture. If you're going to be in the club and someone's going to take a video of it, I'm going to report on it. Till this day, some of y'all still blame, well, no one we care about. Some of these folks still blame me like I was in the club recording. I barely record myself when I'm out and about doing stuff. You think I'm going to be recording people? But anyway, y'all don't know me. Anyway, it's the internet. Who cares? So since then, Andy Cohen has had me blocked. But anyway, so I remember that first panel that I saw, Jeff Lewis, took inappropriate digs, very based off of Monica Garcia being a woman of color and making these sort of like she's poor jokes. He did it again at this BravoCon 2 years later. You know why he did it again? Because he wasn't checked the first time. And this goes back to what I've been saying about Andy Cohen. I will give Andy Cohen in this moment, he does give Monica Garcia her flowers. However, there needs to be a larger conversation. So you probably wonder what I'm talking about. So Jeff Lewis is receiving backlash now because of this comment that he made about Monica Garcia. So let's take a look at what he said.
For you, it was an escape. And so rude. But then I feel like you deviated from that. I mean, you've brought in women that maybe are not as affluent, and it felt like, I'm just curious why you deviated from that original, like Monica Garcia, for example.
I think the answer...
Didn't her food benefits just get frozen? It just wasn't the right fit.
By the way, one of the best seasons of Housewives going, so...
It was.
Receipts proof timeline. Without her, you wouldn't have had that. So, look, we're always looking for great characters, and we're always looking for women who fit the group.
Here's the thing. So, that narrative coming from a white man like Jeff Lewis, because I have to remind you, first of all, a lot of people in this country have been affected by them freezing SNAP benefits. But 40-something% of the people utilizing SNAP benefits are white people. So that comment, and some people are like, oh, he's just, that's just who Jeff Lewis. No, you don't realize the microaggression and the racism rooted in those comments. One of the things that I liked about Monica Garcia was the fact that she was so real about her financial status and her insecurity about around being with these women. That was one of the things that endeared me to her originally when she got on the show. And what I like in that moment is Andy Cohen says, well, we wouldn't have receipts, timeline, screenshot. We wouldn't have that moment without Monica being there. And it was one of their most epic seasons. And we really were worried that the fact that she didn't return, that the following season would be terrible. But for me, again, this is Jeff Lewis being problematic. And this is not the first time that he's said something so insensitive, which goes back to the Call Her Daddy interview where Andy Cohen said that he would probably think of Jerry O'Connell or Jeff Lewis as his possible replacements if he was to choose a replacement. Really? All right, moving on from there, let's talk about Married to Medicine, because the Married to Medicine ladies are at BravoCon as well, and they are throwing their shade. They are, sidebar, I didn't pull up the video for this. So shout out to the Neighborhood Talk, and shout out to all the people that we have and will be featuring in this video, because we like to cite our sources. But look, some of the sources are, I'm trying to, get all the videos for you. But shout out to all of you that are reporting back what's happening at BravoCon. So the Neighborhood Talk is there doing their interviews in the press room. And one of the interviews that they did was with Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie. And they asked Dr. Jackie about who would they consider bringing back. And they're like, oh, who would we bring back? Dr. Simone said Anila. So I'm glad y'all don't do the hiring and the firing. Okay. And then the interviewer, D, says, what about Mariah? Obvious choice. And Dr. Jackie's just sort of, and Dr. Simone, she's just like, say nothing. You could say Mariah and it's not going to be a big deal. I think they're really afraid that Mariah would come back if they co-signed that return. Mariah doesn't need to come back. You know why? Because Mariah is still getting paid plenty from being an executive producer that is still rolling the credits on this show that you guys are starring on, but she's a producer and she will receive money from the show even after you both are no longer on the show. Weirdo behavior. But anyway, look, I also saw a clip from the upcoming season premiere for Married to Medicine, and Quad and Dr. Simone are beefing again this season. I don't understand. We needed a bit of a shakeup this season, and yes, we're getting 2 new people for the show, but I don't know. I'm very concerned. A show that I used to love, not the violin going off. A show I used to love, it's just gone because they refuse to evolve, and that's the problem. And evolving sometimes means getting rid of people, because not everyone's lives are going to be interesting every single season. But speaking of Married to Medicine, yesterday, Toya did an interview. I believe it was with the Neighborhood Talk. And she talked about Dr. Heavenly running for public office. So this is what Toya had to say about voting for her.
A friend of, she is focusing on her political aspirations. How do we feel about her? And would we perhaps vote for her?
No. I'm not going to vote for Heavenly. I just need to see more. I think this season you will see reasons why I just chose to say I'm going in a different direction. It was validated, and whatever she's doing now, to be honest with you, I'm proud of her. I think that's what she should do. If she should follow whatever God told her to do. I just think she should be prepared for what's going to come up against her, and you can't just be in a meeting or in a room of individuals like this and say, you, your mama, and all kinds of other things. Okay, she's gonna have to use some real life answers.
In stark contrast, I started out there, but I'm gonna tell you, when it comes to politics, it's the hardest job that anyone will ever do.
Absolutely.
And it's actually physically risky. And so when someone I feel is intelligent and actually has a true desire to do something like that, I'm full in.
Are you both excited for her to focus on politics for that, and also because then she wouldn't be on the show for you to deal with?
I did not say that. That's what you heard, but I did not say that.
Honestly, I don't even believe that the politics took her away from our show, to be honest.
Not
I
that,
mean, that's
she
the
didn't
story
win.
she's giving. But, I mean, really and truly, we never said, I don't know who told her that.
Yeah, so correction, that was from Page 6 for Virtual Reality. They did the interview with Toya about that. So people were in the comment section saying that, wow, why can't we just support each other? Why can't Black people support each other? And look, I'm not going to disagree with Toya because we've had our criticisms of Dr. Heavenly. Literally, we were just talking about her talking about a woman's infertility. We were talking about her comments on the LGBT community that gay men aren't real men. This was just last year, y'all. Okay? We were just talking about that. And I'm not saying that people can't make amends. And I agree with Dr. Contessa that running for office is not an easy job. And I know we have some politicians that are terrible, that have no integrity. However, we just here in New York City had Zoran Mandani, how hard that man was working in order to go from 1% in the polls to winning mayor of New York City. That took sleepless nights, working every single day, everywhere, doing interviews. So I know it's not an easy job. So I can appreciate someone wanting to run for office, and I'm not saying that she shouldn't. That this is a free country. Everyone should be able to run for office if they feel passionate about. So, but I have to say this, because remember when she announced this and we found out that she was now going to be a friend of the season, everyone was saying she wasn't demoted. She couldn't run for office because Bravo had to figure out her contract, and it took several weeks, so she only filmed a little bit. You saw what Toya said, right? At the end of that, she's like, where did she hear that from? That's a very interesting excuse. This is also the same season that Dr. Heavenly is briefly talking about her son's stuff. And a lot of people's criticism of Dr. Heavenly is that she doesn't show her real life, or she's always in everyone else's business. Remember, I said that. I was like, I don't know if I 100% believe that Dr. Heavenly she couldn't document her political career this season. And I felt like her political career was her storyline, and that's what she wanted to focus on instead of focusing on the bigger story of her son getting arrested for driving towards a police officer. But look, for me, hearing that from another cast member says more than our speculation. Well, Dr. Heavenly had an actually really good response to Toya. And this is what she said in an interview with Quad, her campaign manager, by her side.
Had some not so interesting statements about you running and that she felt like you weren't polished. And a lot of the comments did not agree with her. They felt that as a Black woman, kind of set our community back.
Oh. Thank you. Listen, first and foremost, I just hate that I did not educate Toya on that she's not even in my district. She cannot vote. And we had the conversation. She does not know what a state representative does. She damn sure don't know what a congressperson does. But let me talk to you about why I'm running. I'm running because I'm the child with no windows. You remember that episode? I grew up on government assistance. I watched my mom work really hard, and I see burns on her arms when she worked in the laundry, right? Until she could get free child care so she could go back to school, right? My dad was a disabled veteran, 100% disabled, died with Agent Orange. I am a two-time HBCU graduate, Meharry Medical College and FAMU, right? And they're stripping away the loans and the funding for HBCUs. My son was arrested. He came home safely, but so many of our boys don't. And that's why I'm running for Congress, because in my district, where she said that she would never live in and that she was above my district, they don't have a voice. So many people don't have a voice. And I'm going to be that voice. I'm going to use my platform to be a voice that's unbought, unapologetic, and unafraid to speak up and speak out for my people. And that's why I'm running.
I would say her response was good, right? I mean, she's definitely gotten more polished in regards to her response, but it makes me wonder what will happen if she does not win. Will she return to her other ways? Look, I've said this before, whoever she's running against down there in her district will have a lot of internet. I could see I don't know if you guys have seen the ads. Are there any ads where they're just highlighting some of the terrible things that she said on YouTube? Because that alone would be a damning political ad against Dr. Heavenly. But again, I can appreciate Dr. Heavenly wanting to give back to her community if that is genuinely what she would like to do. Look, I'm not going to be mad at it, but I can understand Sidebar, damn, Toya not knowing that she can't vote in that particular district. Okay, that's a whole other thing. But I'm not going to say that Toya was wrong to say that she's just going to vote for Dr. Heavenly because she's a woman or just because she's black. We don't want anyone voting just because of those things. We want you to vote for someone because they are passionate about what they want to do for that district and for the country if it comes to that. So I thought that that interaction was pretty interesting. Speaking of interactions, if you're still here, guys, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I will be posting a mashup of our day 1, day 2, and if I get to it, day 3 recap of BravoCon on the Kempire podcast. So make sure you subscribe to that as well. All right, so let's get to Real Housewives of Atlanta because there was some things that came out, I will say, based off of Potomac. Potomac was that girl. I remember, what's the first BravoCon where Potomac's panel was so good. It was just, they delivered from beginning to end. I believe it was both. The New York one that I went to and the Vegas one that I went to, that they just delivered. They were just sharp and just on point. Sidebar, speaking of Potomac, before we get to Atlanta, I saw that Ashley was asked about Angel on being on the show and how she's doing this season. And she basically wanted to give her a 0 rating. She's like, you know what? It's just not for everyone. And the interviews that I've seen with Angel and Kiarna, they've been asked about Wendy and they've been asked about her arrest. And I have to say, Kiarna gave a classier response on Watch What Happens Live, but it seems as if something has happened since then. I don't know, or maybe not. And that response, their response was thoughts and prayers, but not like real thoughts and prayers. It was sort of like, yeah, thoughts and prayers. I'm just like, oh my God. Again, I have no idea because we have not gotten to the bottom of what Kiarna or even Angel's issue is really with Wendy. And I'm not a Wendy stan. You know, there's a Wendy stans. If you guys had a legitimate issue, I'd be like, okay, I get it. I completely get it. I wouldn't be surprised. We just did a video a few weeks ago talking about the Brooke Ashley's issue with Dr. Wendy. So if you gave me a story like that, then I could be like, oh, I see where you're coming from. But I can't. Ashley's like, Angel needs to wrap it up. And I have to agree with that, Angel. You got a lot of this talk in interviews and in your confessional. But in these moments, and based off of the mid-season trailer, which we recapped yesterday as well, it seems like it's just going to get worse for you. You look beautiful, though. Beautiful gowns. So let's get into Real Housewives of Atlanta. Speaking of beautiful gowns, so yesterday there were some interviews that Shamea and Kelli did, and they were talking about, because it has been confirmed, even though Andy didn't mean to confirm it, that K. Michelle and Pinky Cole are going to be new housewives joining for season 17. Speaking of season 17, Sheree is at BravoCon as well. I know you're probably thinking, Sheree? Yes, Sheree. Sheree has a good relationship with the network, and she's been asked back several times, including season 17. So there was that rumor that she was going to be coming back this season. So that must have been maybe the rumor. But she's decided not to come back, she says, in this interview because the money wasn't right. I wonder what she wants. I wonder if they're lowballing her or they're offering her maybe less than what she had last season, because the last season she was a housewife. But that was a terrible season, Sheree. It was a terrible season. Your forced fake relationship, it wasn't good. But okay. But they did ask Sheree back apparently for season 17, she revealed. Okay. So they've been talking about season 17. They're giving the typical answers because they can't really say too much, but they're like, it's going to be a good season. We're going to see different dynamics. Shamea does confirm that her and Porsha are not best friends anymore, but her new best friend is Kelli. But you know she loves to call everybody best friend. And you're probably wondering, Kempire, has Shamea gotten less cringy? No. She has not gotten less cringy. If anything, it's gotten worse, including the fashions. But okay, fine. Every season I always try to come in with an open heart, but we're starting getting this precursor into this new season, and I'm just like, okay. So her and Porsha are not in the best place anymore, which is crazy to me because they, again, grew up with each other. Not saying if a toxic friendship is toxic, it doesn't mean you need to hold on to it no matter how long you've known that person. But I just, based off of how last season ended, you had me rooting for Porsha because it seemed like you were the mean girl. It seemed like you came in with a plot and a plan. There was a plot and a plan, right, Porsha? Right, Peach Juice? All right, we're gonna talk about Peach Juice. Actually, let's start with Peach Juice first. Peach Juice, aka Porsha, is revealing her thoughts, and shout out to C Dig. He asked the question at BravoCon in regards to what is the current status of her relationship, what happened between Porsha and Candiace from Real Housewives of Potomac. And I'm gonna remind you what Candiace said on her podcast. Candiace said the reason why she unfollowed Porsha was because Porsha made that joke or used it as a comeback to Angela, like, oh, maybe I'll well, she didn't say it to Angela, she said it to the other lady. So maybe she'll sleep with Charles Oakley, sort of to get back at Angela. So this is what Porsha had to say about the current status of her friendship with Candiace.
From New York. My question is for Porsha. It's not messy. What's your relationship with Candiace after filming with her from Traitors?
Traitors. Oh,
and wait. Are you the one that she's gonna cuss out at the reunion?
She can reveal all that. If she cussed me at a reunion, it will not be necessarily about Traitors. I was thoroughly confused. Like, Traitors for me, when I had done another show with her, I did the Ultimate Girls Trip with her. Oh. Yeah, and we dealt with whatever our issue was, and we were basically cool. And then when we did Traitors, not to get, well, that's not a messy show, so I can say, she was really cool, and I felt supported by her. And I was appreciative as a housewife on the show, you know. Yeah. It can go a couple ways on Traitors because it's a little tricky, you know. Housewives is like Traitors, but Traitors is a whole nother level. But then afterwards, she mentioned me and said that she unfollowed me and all of this, and I don't know, it was just weird. So I actually don't know where we stand at this point. I really hate it. It's weird when it's just 2025 is just weird. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I still got love for her. I don't know why she shaded me.
But you haven't tried to reach out to her since she unfollowed you or anything like that?
You ain't been to unfollow me and then I call you? How did it work?
I got that. But fair.
I'm gonna see her at the review. I'm gonna see you, Candiace. I'm just saying, I like you. But we gonna talk.
I like how she handled that. Again, like a Housewives pro. Remember we said that about Tia when it comes to Real Housewives of Potomac? She goes from shady to sweet really quickly. Sidebar, one thing I didn't mention in regards to BravoCon and what's been playing out there. Shout out to Real Housewives of Dubai star Chanel Ayan. Come on. Have you guys seen her in social media? She's been doing all the social media and interviewing all the reality TV stars. She's been hilarious, funny. She's been bringing her kookiness and her fashion to the red carpet. I think she's been doing a great job. She's also squashed the beef with herself and Melissa Gorga, because you know she's team Teresa. Speaking of which, Teresa was asked about who her ideal cast would be for Real Housewives of New Jersey. Her cast choices were terrible. She even said Jackie Goldschneider, and she said Jennifer Aiden. But she did mention my sister-in-law, Melissa Gorga. She just said that because they've made peace. There's even a picture of all of the both of them together with their husbands. They're making peace. Look, I know some people are like, don't you want peace in the family? I do want peace in the family. Like, for real, for real. I just don't believe this. I don't believe it. I hope that it can be real for them outside of reality television, but I don't believe it. I really don't, but that's me. But Chanel did also squash beef. She squashed the beef with Melissa Gorga. She apparently had a little bit of beef with Tamra Judge, but they squashed it really quickly. It was 24-hour beef. And then they squashed the beef, Chanel and Phaedra. And Phaedra said there really wasn't any beef. It was just housewives shade. But I like seeing, look, I like peace. I know y'all probably think I like the mess, but I like a peaceful household. Just saying. But Chanel, they need to bring back. And it says a big thing that Chanel and Caroline Stanbury is still in the Bravo family, despite their show being put on pause. And they're both at BravoCon. And if anything, Chanel is the star of BravoCon right now, along with Karen Huger, without even trying. Karen Huger received a standing ovation when she appeared during one of the live tapings that they were doing. I saw mixed reactions in regards to it because I know Karen Huger was missed, but Karen Huger went to jail for her 4th DUI. So I'm not going to give you a standing ovation. I'm happy to see Karen back, but I'm also not going to be giving you a standing ovation. Like, or what are we celebrating here, y'all? But okay. And Mary Cosby. So Mary Cosby, oh God, I feel like we got a full key right now. I'm like 30 minutes in. Mary Cosby was asked about the documentary. And she basically says it's garbage. She's like, she's not focused on that at all. She's like, it's garbage. And I was like, okay, Mary, that's what you say now until the documentary comes out. Look, nothing based off of what we saw in that trailer gave credibility based off of the trailer, because a lot of it was regurgitation of what we've known and reported on. It's been quiet. Sidebar, she did say that Robert Sr. had given her this Judith Lieber bag. It was like a purse that was out of the shape of like a roller skates. And she's like, oh, she was telling Andy Cohen that Robert Sr. gave it to her. So they're still going strong. Yeah, step granddaddy husband. Okay, anyway. All right, let's get to some more mess from Real Housewives of Atlanta. So Drew Sidora and Shamea, it looks like she's going up against a lot of people this season, Drew, I can't say who I'm riding with until I see how it all plays out. But apparently Drew and K. Michelle have some sort of beef. Shamea and Kelli were asked about it on the red carpet on who is the better singer. And they were saying, K. Michelle, look, we're not going to sit here and act as if Drew Sidora can't sing. She actually has a really beautiful voice and she put out a really great project. But I also love K. Michelle. K. Michelle is well established when it comes to music. There's no comparing those two. You can't compare their careers. Don't even compare their voices. Okay? So they were asked about that. So Drew decided to address what she saw in the blogs during the Real Housewives of Atlanta panel. So let's get into what Drew had to say to the girls.
Current relationship.
Being a liar? I think she's still alive a little bit.
Okay, I said I would try. Drew, do you care to react?
I mean, Kelli has like a false beef with me. One minute she's like living for me, my biggest fan, and then she throws this little shade out there. Angela, you're really one of your Angela's. At the end of the day, I saw in the vlogs yesterday, and I would be remiss if I didn't address it, because at the end of the day, you know, Shamea and I will be performing together, and I. You remember now? But exactly. A minute ago, she was like the holiday song. What? The reason why I was hesitant is because as we are scheduled to perform together, you were shading me yesterday, and it was on the blogs, and I was really shocked to see that because you were. How did he even get to me? Aren't you supposed to be talking to her? We haven't even said anything. I think it was because they just don't bring it back to me. All right, come on. It was y'all two together. Okay, so we did a vlog together. So at the end of the day, Shamea here, being who she is, you know, I don't understand why you would compare me and K. Michelle when we both sing better than you, boo. You know, and the last time that I checked, my album charted, and you have yet to release one. So it's getting almost a one. Wow. What's crazy is that one song did more than your whole album. I did chart for that one song in your album.
Look, I don't know if I believe Shamea's one song charted better than Drew's entire album. Do you have the numbers? Because people can just say anything on these platforms and not back it up. I'm like, is that true? Because I don't know if I believe that.
It's still delusional like you. Kelli the minion here. Kelli said what? Who has no talent. No, Kelli said what? No, Kelli.
I love the fact that Angela is still having Drew's back, because Drew needs it, because it feels like everybody's always coming for Drew. But Drew does say that she's working on her friendship with Porsha. She was even wearing some Go Naked hair as well.
It always starts off good and then we get here. I tried to act
duet still happens. I'm not quite sure after all of that. She gave you a new nickname and everything. Let me ask a
There's some double teams going on. It's a lot of
Hey girl.
brick and mortar restaurateurs right here. Yes.
Yes.
Don't go there, Shamea. Don't.
Honey,
Girl, I'm going there. Don't keep me
I'm sorry.
Baby, I'm in a whole different tax bracket than you. You're right. You're right. I am.
Y'all want to switch places? Y'all want to switch places? Kelly.
Whoa. So Shamea talking about what tax bracket she's in. Lord have mercy. I'm going to just wait and see how this season turns out, y'all. But it feels like I was hoping Shamea decided not to come back, but Angela called it. She said that she believes that Shamea, during the after show, this is what Angela said, she thinks that Shamea played the long game with Porsha so that she could eventually secure her spot here on the show. I believe that. Production, Kandi has always recommended Shamea for a long time, and they were never interested. I don't know, y'all. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait and see how this all turns out. Okay? This is your day 2 roundup of BravoCon 2025 here exclusively here on the Kempire channel. Shout out to everyone that we cited that is there reporting live and getting us all the tea. Shout out to all the bloggers, YouTubers, TikTokers, and of course, media outlets like the Neighborhood Talk and Page 6 for getting us all the tea. Sidebar, OMG. Y'all know the Las Culturitas? You know their podcast, they had an award show on Bravo that got really bad ratings. Hold on. So they're coming back in 2026 to do another one. And the comments are eating them up. First of all, I'm shocked, but the comments just equally were as bad as those ratings. I'm sorry. I just don't understand. First of all, I don't understand. Award shows were losing their luster in general. So to be creating new award shows, it doesn't sound like a good business model. A lot of these award shows have been losing viewers year after year. Now let's create a whole new award show? Okay, fine. Whatever. Your money at the end of the day. But people weren't watching. But all right. Guys, let's continue this conversation. I want to know all of your thoughts on all of the BravoCon tea that came out today in day 2. Let's continue the conversation in the comment section. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching and for listening.
Here we go now.